I'm going to make some cherry pie filling. I might get to the apple. I don't know. We'll see.
Baking is all about those perfect combinations.
So you want to leave just a little bit of lump in there.
A little science here.
Shortening makes it more tender.
Some creativity there.
That's another thing I like about being a chef. You don't have to have serious hair.
Martin Howard embraces all of baking's quirks.
I've never been one for serious hair.
Every one of them.
Party hair. Pie dough is so flaky. It's like, just like me.
Martin's work slowed down once everything shut down.
Being an employee of a catering company, it's just, they'll book a party and then it'll be canceled. And it's like, I did have a serious moment where it's like, what am I going to do?
So the award-winning pastry chef cooked up a solution.
So pie is a comfort food, and in these times, everyone seemed definitely craving comfort food.
But one ingredient was missing.
You know, you just go with the flow and something will come up. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
It just so happened that Martin's other job was that missing piece of the pie.
Like all drag queens, you kind of go through a transformation. There's only one character, and it's Chocolatina. Chocolatina, queen of the dessert. Big girl, big hair, so.
Chocolatina and the pandemic didn't mix.
With COVID, you can't perform inside. It's like 25 feet and a mask, and that's impossible. I think I've got everything.
Martin's new job, call it delivery by diva.
I'm gonna be a drag queen and sell pie. Lonely game we play. Can't see. Oh God.
All combined, it's a recipe that goes something like this. 2 pies, 2 quiches, 1 drag queen, 1 song.
Her name is Lola.
Chocolatina the Pie Queen delivers baked goods with flair all over the Denver metro area for $100 a pop.
I am here to deliver pie. I'm not just a pretty face. So I lost my audience with COVID, so I get an audience back. Out on the street, start showing with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. I haven't even drank yet. Working 9 to 5. And for people, I mean, it brings them live entertainment that they haven't had since March. And they get pie on top of that, so it's a win-win for everyone. Touching me, virtually, as you know, touching you.
I like the dress. It's very nice. I should have dressed up more for it.
Then spring became the summer.
Customers happily support the queen of sweet and salty.
Woo! Where the hell are we? Oh, sorry, kids. Sometimes she swears. Okay. I've been in Denver for about a little over 3 years now, and I was what would I pay? Trying to find where I belong. When you're in Denver and they want pie, give them what they want.
This is pretty fun. The pie looks really good.
A shaven razor's cold and it stings. What does that mean?
This is the only live entertainment I've had in the past 7 months. So.
This is fun for me too, because I get to perform for people instead of performing to my computer. So.
It might sound like the beginning of a joke. A drag queen and a pastry chef strut into a backyard. But Chocolatina delivers a combination only COVID could inspire.
To believe they never would, but now.
The light is gorgeous. We have a beautiful sunrise. And we're surrounded by wildlife. We're surrounded in nature.
Man, don't you just love Colorado?
I think it doesn't get much better than this.
Barbara Fleming knows what's up. She's a wildlife photographer and all-around cool person, even at 6 a.m.
My dog looked at me like I was crazy, which I probably am.
Barbara is here to capture the sandhill cranes.
Flapping their wings fiercely.
They descend on Monte Vista National Wildlife Refuge every spring.
I totally love the noise. It's mesmerizing. Look at all of them way out there. There's thousands of them.
More like tens of thousands.
You know, most of us have spent a year or more in isolation, having to stay home. And all we have to do is step out and just drive a little bit. And we're in a magical wonderland. This is better than Disneyland.
Though the birds clearly don't know about social distancing, the people who run the area's annual Crane Festival do.
This is so incredible. Look at all of them flying around.
The event's 38th year will be held virtually, but organizers still want people like Barbara
Here they come.
to spread out on this open space.
I feel like I can take a deep breath and relax a little bit and feel like I'm going to be okay. You know, it gives me a sense of hope. And that's exciting. Woo!
It's hard not to get caught up in Colorado.
I'm a sandhill crane.
The only state with rad in the middle is still rad all over.
It's the place to be when there's a pandemic going on.
For next, this is Ann Herbst.
This is called lifting your voice.
A way to help understand what's happened, what's happening, is to look through a different lens.
Because art reflects life.
That is what artists do. They react to the world around them and try to make sense of it.
But stages are dark, galleries empty. The job has changed.
Even my job behind an actual lens has changed.
I just don't know about this microphone and if it also picked up people over there coughing or the birds.
Yet creativity refuses to keep quiet.
I've got to get up and create something.
Are the recorders of
Right,
culture,
got to fight for that joy.
the creators of culture.
Make the world. All of it is this tool to connect us to each other. And
Creativity is determined to illuminate the events of this year.
The election, again, the protests,
So
the
much has happened.
pandemic, like
And there were so many huge things that
the
happened
disruption
in
of
1 year.
everybody's normalcy. I mean, that's when art can really shine.
It's a little backyard concert.
Yeah. Just, my neighbors are used to me by now.
My name is Jen Cordy. I am an artist. My wife's name is Kelly, and she is an RN.
This is the song I wrote during the pandemic.
It's called Halo because I think she's an angel. There's just an enormous amount of grace and dignity that comes along with that profession, and I constantly see people disrespect it.
And I sing, brighter days come through, come through.
The song is about like they don't even understand, like we were living separately in the house at the time because it was in March and April. We didn't know like how serious it was, and she was working with COVID people and I'm high risk, so
Keeping me from her for another day.
well, telling the stories of people's voices who aren't heard.
This is the time in which we've come to realize how very vulnerable a lot of these people are. My name is Adri Norris, and I'm a painter. I really got into murals this year with regards to the unveiling of the varying levels of inequality that we experience in our country. Inspired me to focus not just on sort of women in general, but also to really dive deep into those who have been the most marginalized. So by elevating these stories, by telling them, by showing them, then that allows people to examine things more clearly and then gives us a place where we can actually enact change.
This pandemic was staggering, hateful ineptitude, nonstop fear and disinformation and finger pointing and uncertainty. It was exhausting. I don't know, I always deal with things by writing about it. Country's ever worsening mental health. I'm Adam Caton Holland, and I'm a writer and a comic. And for 2.5 months, the country had been seized by fear. I mean, this year's been so nuts with the pandemic and all the racial inequality and the rising up to combat it. That you've got a million thoughts swirling around your head. And I was also turning 40 in the middle of all that. 6 years younger than George Floyd when he was killed. A global pandemic was raging with seemingly no end in sight. A wave of Americans was rising up to try to finish the fight for racial equality while another racist wave was rising up to try
my
and
wife
stop
and I have a joke
where we're like, well, if I know anything, it's that this is all 2020's fault. December 31st at midnight, problem solved. Everything goes away. And I hate to be the pessimist, but I'm kind of like, I don't think 2020 is the problem. I think people are the problem. I think we've put ourselves in these untenable, terrible situations. Everything was inspiring and terrifying. There was so much hatred and beauty in the world.
Times are difficult, and art brings such joy. I'm Amber Blaze, and I'm the producing director of Rainbow Militia Circus. We are an immersive circus company. I feel like 2020 is going to bring about a lot of maybe darker stories, maybe more difficult stories. And so our hope was in 2020 that we could help people escape a little bit. This one takes place in an imaginary world high in the clouds where the Greek gods have come together and are trying to create a brand new world that is better than the last one.
This is my yoga, this is my meditation. My name is Harrison Neely. I make furniture.
So 2020.
My favorite subject, 2020. The year all my hair falls out. Pretty hectic, pretty stressful. Folks getting locked up and killed and brutalized, and my wife doesn't really want me out of the house after dark with everything that's been going on this summer, so it's a juggle between deciding whether tonight's a good night to possibly die or tonight's a good night to get some work done. Got kids and the whole COVID thing. I got asthma, so not feeling comfortable or safe being involved, which it's hard. This is how I remember George Floyd. It's basically a play of words off of Pink Floyd, like being a brick in a wall, and that's pretty much what everybody that's fallen to gun violence this year has been just another brick in the wall, and everybody just keeps moving on.
The uprisings and the election and all of these things, I hope that it makes us take a part in our own futures. My name is Frankie Tone, and I am an artist based here in Denver. I think a lot of my practice is about tackling serious issues, but with a playful attitude. The costuming that I've done before have all been very outlandish, very impractical, almost non-functional. But then, there's much more tailoring. They are usable, wearable, functioning masks. I can still see the joyful thread of my work going through these pieces and through this year, even though it's been a pretty dark year.
Sometimes I press my fingers toward the invitation of sky and say yes.
You sitting underneath this weird microphone in the middle of a park in Denver, not weird.
Not the weirdest, no. No, I've done way weirder. Did you hear the one about the long lines around the gun shop and the sold-out bullets and the empty grocery store shelves? My name is Susie Q. Smith, and I'm an artist, activist, and educator. I hope we sing like the people in Italy. My poems this year are probably more full of hope and comfort than they normally would be. And maybe it's because I've written a million ragey poems already. During the uprisings of the summer, and a lot of people were asking me to speak, and I didn't have to write a single new thing, because none of it was new. I've been referring to this as the year that continues to demand our full attention. With that level of intensity, right, you're gonna have to feel your feelings. You have to feel your feelings. I'll tell you this, I'll sing before I shoot. I'll sing before I shoot. Never been afraid of heaven anyhow.
We might be a little beat up right now, and finding inspiration anywhere can feel bleak. But the soul of our city is a colorful, resilient one.
Giving a face to something matters.
Art hasn't been more urgent than it is
Every once in a while,
Just
we
kind
like
of,
to
you
create
still have that
photos.
impetus to get up and create stuff.
And it will continue to help us understand 2020 with emotion and strength and heart.
Peaceful sounds of Sunday afternoon couldn't drown out reminders of destruction from the night before. And a looming curfew led to confrontation in the streets. When police fired canisters of tear gas, protesters lobbed them back. The conflict was underway before the 8 p.m. curfew sounded on phones across the city.
So the curfew for the city and county of Denver is in effect May 30th at 8 p.m. People that don't want to get arrested are going to go home, so that's what it is.
Some went home, some did not.
Free water! Tear gas, please be safe tonight!
Hey, we gotta move, man. We're just gonna keep backing up a little bit.
Police pushed the large group south from the Capitol.
We gotta get out of the way. We gotta get out of the way.
And as people scattered, the fires popped up.
You know, this is coming pretty close to some of the parked cars here.
Dumpster fires along Pearl were not the only ones.
A firefighter told us that they have dealt with 30 to 40 small fires tonight alone.
A long night looked so different from a peaceful afternoon.
No justice, no peace.
It's a beautiful Colorado day. I'm glad the sun's shining.
If you waited for the sun to shorten shadows and spent the whole day here,
yeah, it's a beautiful day.
You'd know him by the end without ever having to meet.
You know, I feel like I knew Jake.
On Memorial Day at Fort Logan National Cemetery, stories from family and friends.
Jake is the smiling soldier.
Keep a soldier alive.
Jake was my cousin.
Jake Wykstra.
Visiting our nephew Jake.
I met him at church.
Jake's my nephew. Known him since he was a little
kid my son looked up to all the time.
Jake, to me, was one of my best friends.
They spent the morning or the afternoon, and they even traveled.
All the way from Iowa.
Some even cracked cans.
Hopefully the staff won't mind. Yeah.
And toasted the GI who grew out of his toys.
This little action figure here.
But never grew up.
Goofy, yep. Absolutely.
And goofy is a good word.
Trying to make people laugh.
Goofy's a great word.
Have a goofy smile.
He was super goofy.
We were just sitting in the chow hall, and out of nowhere, he just goes, "You guys want to see how much pineapple I can fit in my mouth?"
The strangest person I've ever met.
They remember laughter.
No, he's hilarious.
And light.
The kind of dude that you just wanted to be around because he lit up every single room with his stories and his smile, and he just made you laugh.
He was a light, and it's hard to lose a light.
May 28th, 2014.
I was in the actual crash that took his life. Pilots clipped something, and unfortunately Jake was the only one that was killed, but everybody else was pretty seriously injured.
It's important that we don't forget, that we don't take for granted what they've given.
This day is memorable.
He painted a sunset for us.
But the next is more meaningful to a father.
His dad is coming tomorrow.
He visits on the day he lost his boy, and it's too hard to speak. Words he'd like to share have been spoken.
Always smiling, always hugging, always laughing.
And by now, You probably know Jake.
He was the type of soldier that you wanted.
He was just an all-American kid.
Jake was as good as it
Always
gets.
makes people laugh and
Put a
smile.
smile on your
He was
face.
Still the light in everyone's life.
Loved life. He really did.
For next, I'm Noel Brennan.